said, it was very amazing because I have worked in non-for-profit, I have worked for corporate, and mostly everything is paperwork. And if your paperwork is in order, then everything else can work. Um, so I was overly excited to be able to be a part of Wiggle Room. Once I seen it, and it's such a smooth process. It's easy for the parents. They can fill it out. Everybody's tech savvy, more tech savvy than the providers. So no one needs to be scared. Like, I don't want to do this. Your parents are more tech savvy than you are.
Yeah. And Calicia, what about you? How did you hear about us and what made you decide to start using it?
So I heard about you guys from Instagram. It was like a little commercial that caught my attention. Um, what made me decide to use it is one, I think it was maybe last year. I took a family vacation after being burnt out, and I had three parents that needed to enroll into the program. And I would make copies of the application, leave it in the mailbox. They would either pick it up, forget to pick it up, but they wanted to enroll the child without having the paperwork. And I totally forgot to leave the applications in the mailbox. And I said, okay, enough is enough. Um, and then the commercial just popped out, and I just called Jamie and I said, we just need to do something ASAP. And the rest was history.
Yeah. Yeah, I was so grateful to get your call. And so I'm curious for both of you, I mean, that's exactly the experience that we hear every day. There's so many logistics in trying to get this form here and all the signatures and everything. And that's exactly why we created it, was to say, hey, we believe there's a way that you could just send them something digitally and it runs in the background of your program. Um, but yeah, I'm just curious for both of you. What's your experience been like so far? What are you liking? What are you hearing from parents? Yeah, anything you'd want to share about your experience. We'd love to hear it.
So for me, my parents are excited and I'm happy too, because I have some type of consistency, right? That professionalism, you got to set the tone from the first meeting. And so being able to use Wiggle Room it just elevates our expectations for the parents. It's quick, it's fast. And then all I got to do is print it and then sign it, and we're good to go. And now they don't even have to sign it, print it and sign it. We can digitally sign it and then print it. So we don't have to do the running back and forth. And it's just like Kalisa said, I don't leave stuff in the mailbox, but what I do, what I used to do is just keep a copy and always have to email it. And then sometimes I got to look for the copy. I got to do, I don't have to do that. Here's the link, fill it out. So my families love it. I love it. It is one great way to be professional. And, I can't wait to hear what Felicia has to say because being a human resource, you know how important that paperwork is. The state loves it too. The better your paperwork is, the less they will bother you.
Yes.
And they will respect you more
Yes.
because all they deal with is paperwork.
Yes.
If they come and give me a problem, the first thing they always say is, "Oh, Miss Ramsey, we know your paperwork is always good."
Yes. Yes, yes. And I piggyback off of that. That's what I've been receiving. Most of the time they just don't even, it's like I'll give them the folders and they're like, oh, good. Once they see the medical, the NAPIN form, the immunization. I'm also big on technology. Um, and you know, my background in HR, it's always changing, and I'm just a person that likes to change with time. I know some providers, they don't like to change. Um, but one thing is you have to really understand the parents are younger and everything is tech and their phone. So how can I make it easy for them and how can I make it easy for me? My parents love it. I have children that had graduated, but they're coming back for this summer. And the parents text me and they said, oh, can I stop by to pick up an application? I said, nope, I'm going to send you the link. And within 24 hours, I received the application. I also have another app that I use. They were able to go on the app, pay their invoice. So they're just waiting for the date. And I was able to take a vacation this year with my family. and literally send 5 parents the link to register their child. So, um, my parents love it. I love it. And like Miss Ramsey said, when they come in and they ask for your files, they don't even really look at it because they know, I've gotten that feedback. Your files are good. They're in order.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've hit on two things that I think are so important, which is that, even if they do pour over every single field on every single document, we want to make sure that they are filled out, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But, you know, your licensors are also busy. So if they come in
Mhm.
and they see that you have a system, that you look
Yes.
organized, that the documents are in order, they are less likely to pour over all the pieces, which saves both of you time. So
Yes.
you can have conversations about, what's going well and not, oh, you need to make sure you did this. Oh, go make sure you didn't find, that form or whatever. Um, but Khaleesi, it's interesting. You're actually the third person who told us that they took a vacation and AutoEnroll helped them.
Yeah.
And is that just because you could do the work from, I'm just going to assume you're like on a beach with a little drink with a little umbrella in it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was literally the situation. I was on the beach with my phone. I was still relaxing. I had my little to-do list, and one was I had to send these applications out. And all I did, I have a general email that I set up, like a welcome email. Please click on the link, and it was just easy, and I didn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, forgot to leave the application, and I know that this child is supposed to start next week when I return from vacation. I did everything, did the interview, we did, so it was just that one missing piece. And again, I don't have a student begin unless I have every single document in order. I was able to review, if they have any allergies, if they're doing any early intervention. So although I was on vacation, I still had to schedule that time to say, okay, this is the day where I'm just going to tie up all loose ends. Um, and yeah, it it saved me because I came back and all I had to do was just print and put in a file.
Yay, I love that. Um, so, oh my gosh, what was my next question? Oh yeah, so I'm curious, if anyone else has any questions, you're welcome to drop them in the chat or come off mute for the panelists. But summer enrollment is coming up. We know parents are enrolling all throughout the year, but we know there's often a big push around summer. So if there are providers out there who do not use auto-enroll, who are still doing the paper packets and there's summer enrollment coming up, what would you tell them? What would be the benefit for them?
I would tell them to enroll immediately because I also realized, which is interesting, and I didn't at first, how fast you're able to enroll that family. Because the more you have to get them in, do paperwork, they may have already went somewhere else that can serve them a little faster. So you're right. Summer is our biggest. That's our paydays. So July and August is the time that we make the most money. We can take the most children. People are really looking for childcare. It's only 8 weeks, but to the parents, it's like, oh my God, the kids out of school, I have nothing for them to do. That is our best time to do the summer enroll.
Yeah.
I again, I agree with Miss Ramsey. It takes away from the tedious administrative responsibility. And our parents, again, if they're at work, they can start the application, pause it, go back. We're setting the tone from the beginning where, listen, we need the documents. We can't enroll the child without the documents, but here's a link. It's just like going to your doctor, your medical provider now. Everything is done online. If you want your child's immunization, you log into a portal. You don't have to wait for the doctor to call you back. And one thing that I also enjoy, sometimes the parents are completing the application they don't remember that, okay, we have a policy. So I just went through this last week with one of our parents where I resent them the potty training policy, so I don't have to go into their file, print, it's there digitally. You just search for the parent's name and you say, up, you signed this form. You completed this form, and now you're putting it back on them. Um, what I do enjoy for me, like I said, because I have two daycares, Jamie was able to my build it where if a parent is enrolling in daycare 1, they just click on that link, and if a parent is enrolling in daycare 2, they click on that link and they complete it. Because again, even though it's under one roof, it's two separate entities according to DOH. So it's two different license numbers. So I love it. There's, it cuts down a lot of time.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. And yeah, that's really common too. I'd say we typically work with programs that operate more, or providers that operate more than one program. Tiffany on here has 4 or 5. And we know that, OCFS, they each have a different license number. They each have a different provider name sometimes, even an address or a floor or something. And those things are really important. So we make sure the system reflects exactly what each program needs.
Yes.
All right, those were all my questions. If anyone wants to hop on, Miss Williams, how are you doing today? Do you have any questions for us?
No, I was just listening on your panel to, it's interesting what they're saying about the AutoEnroll. So I would like for you to give me a tutorial of what it looks like. And because I know we spoke about it like maybe twice already.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't slowed down long enough to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can show, I have a little, I can show a little demo really quickly right now.
Okay.
And then Shannon, if you have to hop, I know Shannon's really busy right now in the car running around. Feel free to. Thank you so much for your time. And Kalicia, if you see anything that you want to hop in or anything, please don't hesitate to do so. And it should only take a couple of minutes. So
Let me just ask you a question. Is this AutoEnroll customized towards the providers, or because I know that Miss Khalees would probably have her daycare name. How is it set up?
Let me
answer that. It is customized, and that is what makes it so amazing, because when your parents are getting a link, it's going to have the name of your daycare on it. It is amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
And thank you, Jamie. I do need to hop off. I love you, ladies.
I love you too. Thank you for joining your busy day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Miss Shannon.
Bye. I'll be talking to you. We'll exchange.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll make sure to connect you too. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is a sample branded landing page for AutoEnroll. So this is a Sesame Street Daycare.
Mm-hmm.
And, what's the name of yours? Is yours DARS?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be that. It wouldn't say Sesame Street. It would have your name clearly. Then the parent hits enroll. And then we just take them through, this is again, just kind of a sample one. And
yes.
let me also just show you that it works great on their phone too. Because we know parents are busy, they're on their phone, they're on the train, whatever. So they just go through and they fill out all of the information. In this, we will have gotten all the information that you need to get from the parent to be in compliance with OCFS and DOHMH. So this is again just a sample. This is a baby bear. We get all the information we need about baby bear. And then hit continue. Of course, we have to have the parent and guardian information. This is bear. We'll hit continue. Papa Bear.
Sorry, Jamie Jen. I'm sorry.
Worries. And And then, we move on to emergency contacts. So we add those in. Let me know if you want me to slow down. I'm just going to keep it moving for the sake of time. But a second emergency contact, that's Little Red Riding Hood, who's a cousin. We have Goldilocks, who's the auntie. We have Gingerbread Man, who is another cousin. And then they can add more. And then they can also confirm that these folks are authorized to pick up and drop off because, there's emergency contacts and then there's also pick up and drop off. So maybe you want, another cousin or a neighbor, but yeah, we're just going to keep it moving. And then this is where we go through all of the policies. This is, this daycare needs a transportation agreement. So the parent reads and agrees to that. This daycare needs a field trips and outdoor activities policies. The parent reads and agrees to that. I'll also highlight that if they have questions, they can enter it right there and we send those right to you. I'll show you how we get those to you in a second. This daycare offers evening and night care, so they fill out the policy for that. Baby Bear is a little infant, so the parent will go through all of the infant feeding arrangements, medical emergencies, over-the-counter products like diaper cream, sunscreen, bug spray. Again, they can ask any questions. This provider has a pool, so I'm trying to make friends with this provider. And so they agree to that. And then they agree that they will review the handbook and that they will notify you if there's any changes at least once a year as OCFS regulates. And so with that, they can ask any other questions right here. And then with that, they're done. And so they get a little window that says, thank you for filling out these forms. And the nice thing that you'll notice is that they didn't have to enter their child's name 17 different times. They didn't have to write down their date of birth 18 different times. They didn't have to write down their own phone number 6 different times. We ask it to them once, and then I'll show you what we get, and then I'll expand my window a little bit here. You get an email. This is again just a sample from Mr. Elmo of Sesame Street Daycare to Mama Bear. Any of those questions or concerns, those would be listed there. And then when the parent comes in before their child enters your care, you could discuss any of those. And then this is really the magic of it. All of these documents that you need are attached and you can just download, print, sign, and file. So you'll see, of course, the standard, 0792. The main form, that's all there. It's all filled out. You can read it clear as day, no confusion. We include a little registration page, which just brings out like the key information for the child, as well as shares the required resources that OCFS requires you to share with families. And then these are all of the other policies that you'll need. Again, so, there's some allergy ones, the transportation, evening and night care, the infant feeding schedule because it's an infant. And then you'll see that this provider has a handbook. And so that's attached. I think this is what Calicia was mentioning. You can just go here and, if they're like, oh, I didn't know your enrollment policy, or I didn't know the tuition late payment fee, you can say, actually, if you can review your email, it's all right there. And they have that at hand. You both have it kind of available at your disposal whenever you need it. Especially, unfortunately, when there's a miscommunication, you can go back and say, okay, let's see what we said. So in a nutshell, that's how it worked. Did I miss anything, Calicia, or anyone else?
Good. Yep. That's it.
And does that answer your questions, Ms. Williams? Oop, I think
Can
you're
I
on.
add anything, Jamie Jen? Hi.
Yeah, Tiffany, hi. I love to see you
How are
here.
you?
No question, Jamie.
Okay. Yeah, Tiffany?
Yeah, so one of the things that I also like truly love, in case you missed it, is that I love the fact that everything that the parents fill out automatically we receive and they receive. There is no, oh, I didn't get that. I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh, but it's in your email.
Yep.
So I love that. I also love the fact that Jamie Jen allows us to really customize and add on, for instance, our handbook, our parent handbook, which to me is like golden, as well as our holiday sheets. You know, all these little nuances that we have to make sure families get beforehand, or at least within that time period of enrollment, to one, not only maintain professionalism and, you know, really show from the beginning, these are our standards, this is what you can expect from us, but also to just take the load off of us in regards to, oh my God, did I give them that? Did I do this? Did I do that? No, it's there. And that's the magic of systems and automating things. Because as childcare providers, we have so much on our plate that although, yes, we know we can do it all, quote unquote, but why should we? When there's certain systems that are already created that can just facilitate things to make things just smoother for us. So that's something that me personally, I adore about this.
Thank you, Tiffany. I didn't even know you were joining today, so I love when other members of the community hop on and yeah. And then welcome to the two other folks. I know that folks are joining late. We're going to have a recording of all of this available, but if anyone ever has any questions, please don't hesitate to come off mute or drop them in the chat.